Good evening, everyone. I'm opening the meeting of the Bristol Township Planning Commission. I'd like to welcome our viewing audience and those in attendance. Would you kindly stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you remain standing, to keep in mind our troops that are in harm's way, our prisoners of war, our killed in action, our missing in action, for the children who were separated from their parents, all those suffering from these terrible wars, tragedies, and disasters, and any personal intentions you may have. Thank you very much. Okay, we do have 4 items on our agenda, and before we get started on the agenda, Commissioners, you have a copy of the minutes of the July Bristol Township Planning Commission meeting. You've had an opportunity to review those minutes. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, Commissioners. The first item on our agenda this evening is subdivision. Kevin Tapia, I hope I said that properly, 2300 Virginia Avenue, is requesting a preliminary and final subdivision approval to subdivide into 2 lots for a new, what was that SF standing for? Single family. Thank you very much. Single-family dwellings on the property located at 0 Terrapin Street, Bristol, tax parcel number 05-065-143 in an R-3 residential zone district.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Larry Byrne. I'm the engineer that prepared the plan for the applicant, Kevin Tapia.
Good evening, Larry.
Larry, is the mic green on yours?
That's red. Now it's green.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Good evening. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
I said, like I said, Larry Byrne, the engineer that prepared the plan for Kevin Tapia. It's a minor subdivision. It's about as basic of a plan as you can get. It's getting a square and cutting it in half, basically. It's located over, I guess that's the Venice Ashby section, right over by Schumacher, and backs up, Route 13. I'm pointing with this, but.
I'm sorry, Larry, do you have a pointer?
Yep.
Oh, it is working. Okay.
I was using the
Yeah,
computer
okay.
thing. I got 2 hands going.
Okay.
Gotta multitask.
Yeah. So here's the site, located on Terrapin Street, Murillo Drive, Schumacher. So it's approximately about 11,000 to 12,000 square foot lot, splitting it in half. Each lot's going to be a little less than 6,000 square feet, complies with zoning. It will be serviced with public water and sewer. Here's an overall aerial, vacant lot, Route 13, Terrapin Street. Terrapin Street is actually constructed, all the way to the end, but I guess over the numerous years, however, since it was built 50, 75 years ago, it's been kind of overgrown with vegetation, but the cartway and curbing is there. So the plan is, as I said, about as basic as it gets. Square lot, cutting it in half, proposing 2 single-family dwellings. We will be providing, stormwater management facilities in the back with infiltration trenches. Water's piped to the infiltration trenches and infiltrates, percolates into the ground. So with that, the overview of the project, that's all I have to say on that. We did receive the Township Engineers Review Letter dated July 22nd, 2025 from Gilmore & Associates. They indicate that there's no zoning issues, and in all the other comments, advisory in nature or a couple minor revisions required are all will complies. There are a few waivers that we're requesting. I did provide a list of waivers letter with the initial submission, but based on the review letter from Gilmore, I had to modify a section number and also had to, I added two waivers. I have a copy of this. I don't know if you got the latest one revised.
I believe we have a copy, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I just sent that over today. There's a total of 7 waivers. The ones that I revised were sections, were waivers 3 and 4.
Larry, I'm going to ask you to go down the waivers one at a time and call the numbers for the record.
Sure, okay. Okay, well, there's waiver number 1, section 177-14.e is just to permit a simultaneous preliminary plan, final plan approval. Waiver number 2, 177.43a, is that we're requesting a waiver from sidewalks along the frontage of Terrapin. There's no sidewalks anywhere in that neighborhood, and it basically dead ends at 13, the highway. The next one is 177-93A1, and that's just drafting standards, and it's related to the scale of the plan. Since it's such a small site, we drew the plan at 1 inch equals 10 feet, as opposed to what the ordinance says, 1 inch equals 50 or 100. If you were to draw it at 100 scale, you wouldn't be able to read it. Same thing, section 177-93C3, that's drafting standards, to not be required to show everything within 200 feet of the property. And we do have like an aerial photo, and you can see everything pretty clearly from that. Another one is 177-48.D3, and it's the grading. It's just to permit a little bit of minor grading along the property line here within 5 feet of the property line. It's just so we can show the house and some minor, it's like less than a foot or so grade change. The 2 waivers that I did add as a result of the Gilmore letter is that 177-35A, and that's street standards. They had pointed out in their letter that the township requires a 26-foot wide cartway. The existing cartway there now is 24 feet, and we would just propose to leave the existing curb and cartway as it is. And as I said, it's all overgrown vegetation, so the owner is going to get in there and clear everything off that cartway and basically rebuild the road, in its current location. And that's, here. The road actually stops about here, the paving, but this piece in here is really just, there's trees actually growing in there, so that's all going to be straightened out. The road's going to be fixed and repaired. And we just want to use the existing cartway of 24 feet. And then the last waiver that I just added is to section 177-39, where it, I guess it says terminal roads, dead-end roads should end with a cul-de-sac, but we're not proposing to construct a big cul-de-sac. We're just going to have it dead end like it does now. And that's the last waiver. That's the waiver I added. So I don't know if it's technically a waiver. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but the engineer recommended that we request a waiver.
Thank you, Larry.
So, and like I said, that was the waivers, and everything else in the Gilmore letter is a will comply.
Okay, thank you.
A couple stormwater comments, and then just some notes and details and stuff. So,
Commissioners, you've heard the presentation. Do you have any comments or questions?
No.
Any comments or questions from the audience? Bo, do you have anything? Okay, thank you. Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion. I'd like to recommend to council approving the request for Kevin Tapia, 2300 Virginia Ave, for the final, preliminary and final subdivision to subdivide into two lots for new single-family dwellings on the property located at 0 Terrapin Street, Bristol, tax parcel 05-065-143 in an R3 residential zone district, with the understanding that the waivers be granted in the Eastern Chadrow Associates letter, and that everything will comply in the Gilmore and Associates letter dated July 22nd, 2025.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any comments or questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Good luck, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The next item on our agenda is a conditional use. This is for Global Currency Services of PA LLC, 1930 East Route 70-D20, Cherry Hill, is requesting conditional use approval to operate a check cashing business on the property located at 4025 Veterans Highway, Bristol, tax parcel number 05-017-007-004 in a C commercial zone district.
Good evening, Commission. Bryce McGuigan from Begley Carlin here on behalf of Global Currency Services.
I didn't get your name.
Bryce McGuigan?
Thank you, Bryce.
No worries. It's been a while.
It has.
What can I say? I was trying to avoid you guys, but you kept me coming back.
You know, that's,
There's truth in joking.
No comment.
okay.
So thanks for having us tonight. I have the pleasure this evening of representing Global Currency Services of PA LLC. They're under contract to lease part of the property at 4025 Veterans Highway. As I'm sure the board is familiar, or the commission is familiar, this is a strip center right across from the Gibbies along 413, New Madison Cafe, and some other existing businesses there that are large parts of the local township, and we hope that we can become a part of the township as well. Specifically, the property at issue is 2,875 square feet, so a very small leasehold in this shopping center. It's part of the C commercial zoning district, and again, it's an existing vacant unit that we're seeking to move a check cashing business into this unit. Now, my clients own upwards of 10 locations in the local area, both Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and specifically they own a business here in Bristol Township on State Road in Croydon. And we're here tonight to request recommended approval of the conditional use application for this particular use. Check cashing business is a conditional use here in Bristol Township. Specifically, it's paired with a pawn shop use, which we're not doing, and that was a minor issue at the zoning hearing board, because as part of the conditional use process, there are a few requirements and a few specific conditions of a check cashing business that it must qualify for in order to become that conditional use, in order to be approved. One of those requirements, one of those criteria, is it can't be 1,000 feet within certain other types of uses, whether they're churches, religious uses, schools, or other residences. Now, this strip center is not within 1,000 feet of a school, a church, or any sort of daycare, but it's right across the street from some residences on the other side of 413. So we had to go to the zoning hearing board last year to seek zoning approval for that, to have a variance of that one condition, that one criteria of the conditional use. So fortunately, we did receive that relief, and since that time, we've submitted an application for the conditional use itself for the check cashing business. Now, just to recap some of the main elements of the use, being as we're here today specifically and solely because of the use, The business itself, it's solely related to financial services. Essentially, it's what we offer and what what our business has offered to others in Bristol Township and the surrounding area is financial services for those who do not have a traditional relationship with a financial institution, mainly other commercial businesses or employment-related matters, strictly check cashing. There are certain ancillary businesses involved, such as money orders, Western Union, that sort of thing, but there are no retail sales, no tobacco, no vapes, nothing of the sort. It's strictly financial services. And again, what we propose is akin and essentially a mirror image of what already exists in Bristol Township. In this particular area, there are no other check cashing businesses in this specific location. Granted, if you go all the way down to 5 Points, you'll see one or two. But in this particular location, there's really not any others. So in this particular situation, we're filling a gap in the area and a service that some folks in this township do desperately need. So with that, I have Kim Jacobs with me tonight. Kim is one of the co-owners of the business together with her husband, Mark Jacobs. They have been in business for 35 years. And specifically, this location is one that we think will be perfect for the business. It's a small location, existing parking, existing traffic that lends itself to our use. And as far as the business itself, there's really not much cooking there. There's one employee at all times. Sometimes on the busy times there are two. We have a standard 9 to 5, 9 to 6 sort of operation, maybe with a little extra hours on Friday till 7 or 8 o'clock. The busiest days are Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So it's really just a 9 to 5 sort of business here, very low impact on the area. So with that, we would submit that that this use would be fitting for this particular location, for this zoning district, and we would request that the board consider a recommendation of approval of this conditional use. There are no exterior modifications of the structure, only an interior fit out. So there is no land development, no waivers or anything like that associated with the project. It's all about the use today. So if the commission has any questions, obviously.
Thank you, Bryce.
No problem.
Commissioners, you heard the presentation. Do I have any comments or questions?
I don't know.
Any comments or questions from the audience? Bo? Thank you. Hearing no comments or questions, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend to council the conditional use for Global Currency Services of PA LLC, 1930 East Route 70 D20. Cherry Hill is requesting conditional use approval to operate a check cashing business on the property located at 4025 Veterans Highway, Bristol tax parcel number 05-017-007-004 in a C commercial zoned district.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Any comments or questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Good luck, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is a zoning map amendment petition. I am in receipt of a letter requesting that 7201 Norman is requesting to move to another meeting. I will need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to move the meeting to a later date in regards to 7201 Norman.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any comments or questions on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous. This particular item will be moved to a future meeting. The next item on our agenda is land development for Herring Management, Inc., 281 Witherspoon Drive, Princeton, is requesting preliminary and final land development approval for F-3 wholesale business on the property located at 3113 and 3105 Veterans Highway, Bristol, tax parcel number 05-020-004 050-020-005-001 and 05-020-005-002 in a C commercial and M1 light manufacturing zone districts.
Good evening again, Board. Bryce McGuigan here from
Good
Begley
evening,
Carlin.
Bryce, again.
Still. Just wanted to repeat it, just in case. And now I have the pleasure of representing Herring Management. Thank you for having us tonight. I just want to introduce a few people first. I've got Jeff Skinner, our project engineer, with me tonight. Together, oh, there you go. And together with some of the folks from Herring Management, including Jamie Herring, who's the owner of the business and is going to be the developer of the site at issue here tonight. You know, to just a little bit of background here, we're here.
So first, let me say good evening, everyone.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. And we're here tonight to request recommended preliminary and final land development approval for the property located at 3113 and 3105 Veterans Highway. I don't think the commission needs me to go into too much detail as to somewhat of the zoning history of the site. There have been a number of ultimately unsuccessful applications for development related to this project by other applicants over the past several years. But we're here tonight with something that we think really could work on site, as we'll get into in a few moments. But by way of background, the property as it currently exists, it's a shade over 8.5 acres. It's split zones, part of the C commercial, M1 light manufacturing zoning districts, and part of the TC overlay district as well. It's largely an unimproved lot, has some remnants of prior developments on there, together with a stadium bar and grill that will be demolished as part of our proposed plans tonight. What we're proposing to do is to construct a 129,000 square foot industrial facility on the property. As part of our application, we received zoning relief from the ZHB last October. Namely, there were 8 variances, both for the use as well as for various dimensional aspects of the project. But essentially what we're proposing here is, Bo, can you do me a favor and slide through to the next page for me? All right, so obviously this is the existing site as you see it here, fronts Veteran Highway, and there's Ford Road here to the side. As Jeff will go into, we were fortunate to get an easement so we can access Ford Road with respect to the new development. However, what we're proposing now is, again, like I said, a 129,000 square foot industrial facility. It's not quite spec. You know, Jamie, as you'll hear tonight, you know, he's fortunately a known commodity here in the Bristol Township area. Jamie is the owner of a number of different sites, including the Bristol Commerce facility, and he is not only Bristol Township, but also the general local Bucks County and surrounding community, responsible for upwards of 1,300 jobs moving to this area. And we hope that, provided that this structure is approved, that this can help add to those numbers. You know, even though we don't have a specific tenant as of right now, what we're proposing for the site, what we're looking for the site, is something along the operational and production side of things. We're not at this point looking at or investigating or catering to some sort of distribution facility that would be that would come with it heavy truck traffic that you would see in some other facilities out there. Could you do me a favor, Bo, go to the next slide for me? All right, so Jeff, if you can, real quick, might give the board a little bit more of a flavor for the project, if you can walk them through the site as we see here.
Yes, thank you, Bryce. Mr. Chairman.
Good evening.
Members of the commission, thank you for having us. As we see here, this is the same site, but clear of all the existing development. The Stadium Bar and Grill is presently here. The pad for O'Connor Freightliner is approximately right here. So we are completely redoing the whole site with the 129,000 square foot building here with automobile parking in the front, along this side, and in the rear. The truck loading area will be back in the back, kind of tucked in an area to somewhat hide it from the surrounding roads. We are proposing some additional truck parking that may be necessary along this side of the road, the building as well. We are proposing 2 new access to the Veterans Highway. Presently, there's 3 associated with the site, so we'll be reducing the access to Veterans Highway by 1 and relocating the predominantly auto driveway across from the driveway to Rob's Autos directly across the way. There's also the McDonald's at this location as well. So we're cleaning that up so that we can have a turning lane to come in and still leave the turning lane for Rob's Auto to come in as well. We are in the process of gaining permits from PennDOT for all this modifications along 413. We also are proposing a predominantly truck traffic driveway along here. It will be a right in and left in and right out only. There will be no truck traffic crossing to come this way. We do have a third access. As Bryce mentioned, the property comes with a 50-foot wide easement that is across the back edge of Beach's Hardware, which is presently at the corner of Ford Road and Veterans Highway. So we will be making use of that for predominantly truck traffic to come out, and will, in all essence, most likely come turning left towards Ford Road, onto Ford Road to go to the intersection of 413. We expect 99% of the truck traffic to be coming from Veterans Highway, as that has the best access to the freeways in the area. So as the site sits, presently there's the Bristol Plaza along one side over here, and we have Levtown Trace Apartments along the back side. We did get a zoning variance for a reduction for the buffer yard, and we'll try and maintain the existing trees and vegetation in there to block the truck loading, and we'll improve it as need be as the development takes place, to make sure that we do have a continuous tree coverage throughout this area. So as you saw on the previous site, the site is mostly paved, and there is no stormwater management facilities for the site whatsoever. There is a drainage swale along 413 Veterans Highway, but the pipes coming to it are presently plugged and buried, and there really is no useful drainage occurring along there. So we are proposing to rehabilitate those swales so that the drainage will be clear and open along the highway. We are proposing 3 new basins, mostly along this side and in the front, and a swale area as well. The site drains down and drains to an outlet pipe here and a swale along here. So it kind of splits into 2 different watershed areas. So we are working with that to maintain that we have the same percentage going both ways, but still meeting the township ordinances for stormwater management. So we also have tested the water availability on the site, and while there is water for the domestic use of the facility, for the fire protection systems, the new fire protection systems require a much more volume. So we've determined that we need to put a at-grade water tank back in the back corner here to hold 90,000 gallons of water for fire protection purposes only. It will not be potable. It will just service the fire protection system and hopefully never be used, but you know, it will be there just in case. So we have the 20 truck loading docks in the back. We don't believe it's necessary based on a typical user for this size building. It's not a heavy truck traffic generator. It's more of a wholesale business, and they'll be bringing items in from time to time, but will not be generating much truck traffic. But we're providing those truck spaces. So we are, as I said, in the process of obtaining the PennDOT permit for all the work to be done within the PennDOT right-of-way. We also have an application in for the MPDS permit and the sanitary sewer and all those other requirements within the ordinances. We will be building some retaining walls along these two sides because of the existing grade of the property. We have such a large building that needs to be level, but the slope of the site is roughly 8 feet going from one side to the other. So by leveling this out, we have this side, it's kind of low, and we were required to put a low 4-foot retaining wall along there, along the Beach's Hardware side, and 4 to 6 foot retaining wall along the back side here. But all drainage along here will drain towards the site. We were not causing any drainage to go off the site. Everything will be coming through these basins and exiting in a controlled fashion through there. The building will drain directly to the swales as well, and the system will meet the township ordinances as well as DEP for the MPDS requirements, permit requirements. We are landscaping per township ordinances with the trees you see here and some around. We will clean that up as well. We have a couple comments to improve that a little bit and add a few more trees. We'll be following through with that. Our trash enclosure will be screened back in the back corner here, away from the roads. We have, as Bryce mentioned, received various zoning variances for the site, for the use, and dimensional requirements needed for this development. We do have a list of waivers that we will be requesting, if you'd like me to go through those now.
If you would, please.
Yes. We had some of these on the plans, and with the township engineer's review, we've added a few more just to clarify. So the ordinances we were requesting waivers from was 177-14E for a preliminary final submission.
Could you say that again? I don't see that we have that one.
177-14E.
Yeah, we don't have that.
We don't
in
have
the,
that.
In the Gilmore and Associates letter.
It's listed in the Gilmore letter.
So if I may, so there were initially 4 waiver requests that we asked for that were reviewed by Kurt's office. That was one of the 4, but generally now we're asking for a total of 14. So this is, we can go through obviously each one of them, and the remaining 10 at issue, those do stem from comments that were made by Kurt and John.
Bryce, did I understand you correctly? Now there are 14 waivers?
14, yes, that's correct.
Do you have a
Okay.
an
Do you
updated
have
copy
copies
the
of those waivers? We only have the 4 that are listed.
Yeah, so but we we sent an email earlier today with those 14 waivers. However, there was an issue with some of the sections that we identified, so we do need to revise that and provide a formal list of all 14. However, Jeff and I would be more than happy to go through all of those tonight. Generally speaking, I would say there's only one that we need to talk about a little bit.
Un- If you don't mind, because just telling us what they are doesn't mean we're going to retain all that as we're going through this. So if we have something in front of us that kind of, we can follow through. I'm a senior, I have a hard time retaining things sometimes.
Going through 14 different sections of the ordinance, and the rapid fire, that's not something that we want to do without.
A lot of things I can do, but maybe not that.
Right, you know how we operate.
Totally understand, not a problem.
Yeah, just give us.
Thank you, Bo.
shortness.
Kurt, are you aware of the 14 waivers?
Yeah, we did receive a list of 14 waiver requests earlier today. I don't know, do you have the updated section numbers for each of them?
Not exactly. We know they're from 174, section 174, and I believe 21, but we'll confirm that, and we'll send a more formal supplement with all of them identified tomorrow.
So I would suggest reading through the nature of the waiver requests, and you'll have a copy of those that Bo's printing out. It won't have the right corresponding numbers from the sections from the codified ordinance, but then any motion that you'd make could be crafted that those waivers would be granted. I mean, we do have one comment on one of the requested ones that we opined on today about the curbing, but other than that, we have no issues with the remaining waivers being requested in that list of 14.
And just to confirm, apparently
Thank you.
we asked for 7 at first. There were 4 from Saldo sections and 3 specifically related to stormwater management. So those are still being requested, but then there were an additional 7 that Jeff and his team identified following a review of Kurt's review letter.
No, they're not in addition to the 14, are they? They're part of the 14?
No, sir, part of them.
Thank you.
No problem.
We can cross-reference them back, so even if the requests that came in today, if you read the sections and what the nature of it is, then that'll suffice.
Yeah, we'll go through it, and I think it'll be a little bit more clear once Jeff and I are able to explain some of this. Because at the end of the day...
Thank you, Bo.
Bo, I appreciate it. So there's a total of 14 waiver requests on that list that the commission has now. The first 11, those are all, the sections are exactly what we need. The final three are the specific stormwater requests, and those we need to supplement. But
So Bryce, let me, before we go any further, so Kurt, the first 11 that he's talking about, we need to go through each one of them to describe what they are in detail in order to understand what these are?
That's at your discretion if you'd like them to go through each one. It could be just merely reading what the section references. I think that would be adequate.
yeah, how about this? We'll go through with the cliff notes to explain what each one is generally, and to the extent that the commission has any specific question about any of these,
Yeah.
we'll be happy to spend more time on it.
That'll be fine.
That's
As
perfect.
necessary. All right. So the first one here, which is from 177-14E, is just to allow preliminary final approval together simultaneously. Number two is 177-35A, which is regard to maintaining Ford Road essentially as it exists now. Essentially, the right-of-way and the cartway are a little bit narrower than otherwise required. We just don't want to change that. We want to leave it as is. The third waiver is 177-41F, which is to allow less than 15 feet of separation from the proposed parking lot to the building itself. Number four is from 177-41G, which is to allow certain parallel parking spaces to the side of the building, as Jeff's showing you there to the left side. Ordinarily, that would require specific approval, so we're just asking for a waiver to allow that as depicted on the plan.
And Bryce, could you tell me what this, in parentheses, board approval means?
Yes, sure, but I think Jeff might be able to add a little
Yes,
bit.
the ordinance doesn't specifically say that it's not allowed, but it gives the caveat that the board can, at its discretion, determine whether it is appropriate in this context.
Thank you.
And essentially, by requesting a waiver and hopefully by council approving that waiver, it's somewhat an indirect approval of the parallel parking spaces. So it's just a different way of looking at it, I guess. The fifth waiver request is 177-41K, which this one we do need to discuss. This is to not require a curbed parking area within the site. Now, what we're proposing here, and I guess it would be probably more appropriate for Jeff to take you through what we're proposing, and then we can discuss why we're asking for the waiver.
The building is surrounded by parking and driveway, and we are proposing curbing in between all the pavement and the building, and at other sites around the perimeter, including the auto entrance. Where we are not providing the curbing is the truck driveway coming in from Veterans Highway. We are proposing to put landscaped large boulders along there. We do have detention basins on either side of this driveway. So we found that is the best solution to keep the trucks within the paved area. The curbs do not do that. Bollards do not do that. So we felt that this would be the best and most aesthetically pleasing solution to that. We are also having trees along that path as well. We are also not putting curbing along this edge of the parking lot so that we may use a best management practice of having sheet flow going directly into the swale and to the basin. We are proposing, though, a wooden guide rail to keep the cars from going through into the basins. So they will be stopped from that, but the stormwater flow will go underneath it and directly into the basin.
And, so in full clarity, Gilmore is not supportive of this waiver request. And candidly, we'll do whatever the township wants with regard to this issue. It's just in our experience, and like I mentioned, Jamie owns the Bristol Commerce Center along with a whole slew of other industrial properties. And in our experience, these boulders do the best to help manage that truck traffic and to make sure they stay on the road. And the whole point of this, and actually to briefly segue here, Bo, can you do me a favor and just flip to the next couple pages for me? We're going to try to go out of our way to make this a especially a first-class facility, something that's more akin from the street to being an office rather than something that's just a straight block building. You know, we understand that this structure occupies a large and prominent property in the township, so we want to treat it like that and to make sure that this is aesthetically and visually more pleasing than your average bear. And the commission knows, the township knows, based on what Jamie has already, that, you know, he makes a good building and puts a lot of time and effort into these projects to ensure that this is something that will work here in the township. So we're not trying to cut corners. We are not trying to do something to save a buck or whatnot. We just want to make something that works from a practical standpoint, but also an aesthetic standpoint. So we're not going to die on this hill. We would like to work, and we are going to work with Gilmore and with the township to make something that does work in terms of this request. So we would still ask the commission to consider a recommended approval of this, conditioned on Gilmore's ultimate approval of this request. You know, so at the end of the day, if like I said, we'll do what the township wants. We'll work with Kurt's office. So to the extent that you can make it conditioned on that, we would like to have those conversations specifically moving forward as to different alternatives that could somehow bridge the divide here and work for both sides. All right. Sure. So that was the fifth request. The sixth waiver is section 177-41M, which is to allow less than a 5-foot curb radii in the parking and drive area. Number 7 is 177-42B, which is regarding the lighting. We have about a 10-degree downward tilt on 11 of our proposed lights. Technically speaking, you're not supposed to have any tilt, so we're asking for, essentially it's a partial waiver, and to the extent the commission has any questions, I'm sure Jeff could go into exactly why we feel that's necessary here. The next waiver request, number 8, is for no street sidewalks, which candidly I don't think we all want people walking up and down this corner of the roadway here, so that makes sense. Number 9 is 177-48D3, which is to allow grading within 5 feet of property and right-of-way lines. As Jeff went through a few minutes ago, we are making some significant stormwater improvements compared to what's there now, including in a swale that is essentially near the right-of-way line. So a lot of that is necessary to make these and effectuate these improvements. Number 10 is 2 separate sections, 177-91A1 and -92A2, which is just a plan scale waiver, fairly standard. The 11 is 177-91C3 and 92C3, which are again to not include certain mapping features within 200 feet of the site. The site's a rather large site, and we don't want to take up more of your time going through all sorts of other stuff on that plan. 12, 13, and 14, these are the stormwater sections that we're going to have to supply updated section numbers to the township, which we'll do tomorrow as well, but the actual relief requests do remain the same. This is to allow a stormwater basin, relief from a certain stormwater basin slope requirement for the side, for the bottom, as well as for one of the drainage pipes. So to the extent that the commission needs some additional information, obviously Jeff will be happy to go through it, but there's certain minor tweaks to our design basin. So that would be it. Those are the 14 separate requests at issue. Like I said, the one at issue, and we'll fully admit that Gilmore is not supportive of it, but for the time being, if the commission would see fit to grant that condition on Gilmore's ultimate approval, then we would be very happy going forward and seeing if we could have those discussions in more detail.
Thank you, Bryce.
Sure.
Kurt, are you good with that?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Commissioners, you've heard the presentation. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yes. Hey, Bryce. Kurt, in regards to 177-41K, if we recommend it with the condition upon your final
Yeah, I think
approval?
that would be fine.
Okay.
And part of the discussion leading up to tonight's meeting was that we would regroup and work through some of these matters prior to proceeding to council. So by the time it gets to council, some of the issues will be more ironed out. So I would say even if you condition the waiver recommendation in their entirety to review and, final approval by Gilmore, I think that would suffice, even with like the lighting comments or different things like that. It'll give us an opportunity to look at things again as they're proposed, and like I said, it would be more refined when it goes to council, and then that resolution adopted by council would have it stipulated more clearly in that.
Okay.
But we're very comfortable with this project overall and moving forward at this stage with Planning Commission.
And the cherry on top, everything else is a will comply in the letter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
I'm just curious about the 10-degree downward tilt.
Well,
It's such a small.
well,
I'm just
it's
curious.
upward, and to meet the requirements for the 1-foot candle for the entire parking area, and we are, as you see here with this building, we are putting the lights on the building instead of poles out in an area where they could become an issue. But to meet the ordinance for illumination, if I just gave it a 10-degree tilt that projected a little more light out to the parking spaces further away from the building. So,
The alternative, as you mentioned, though, is to provide post-mounted lights elsewhere in the parking lot to meet the requirements
yeah,
of the ordinance. So
which
it's-
would tend to make a brighter area right directly around that. And it, this tends to give you a little more uniform fade from the building out to the off-site.
No, I totally get it. Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, any other questions or comments?
Negative.
Any questions or comments from the audience? Bo?
Just want to make sure the motion that is set forth is worded right before we begin.
I got it.
Kurt? I have nothing further. Okay. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion. Okay. I'll make a motion to council for the land development of Herring Management, 281 Witherspoon Drive, Princeton, requesting preliminary and final land development approval for F3 wholesale business on the property located at 3113 and 3105 Veterans Highway, Bristol Tax Parcel number 05-020-004 and 05-020-005, 001, and 05-020, 005, and 002 in a C commercial and M1 light manufacturing zone districts, along with the contingency upon approval of all permit requirements. We would also like to request to council to grant the 14 waivers with the original 4 listed in the Gilmore and Associates letter, but ultimately the 14 that were emailed to Gilmore and Associates on August 5th of 2025, noted that, under the condition of review and ultimate approval of waiver 17741K, request regarding curbing, and noting that everything else in the Gilmore and Associates is a will comply. Did I miss anything? All right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any comments or questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Having nothing else on our agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion and second.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No nays. Meeting is adjourned. Great job.
I had my
Yeah,
notes
that
like
was,
all over.
you crushed it.
Dude, I had my notes all over the place.
You-
I'm like, all right, wait a minute.